I sat in the conference room at the Thai Cybercrime Investigation Bureau headquarters in Bangkok, watching through a one-way mirror as Kanyapak Nak Suthara was processed for formal arrest. She was still beautiful, still composed, still playing the role of the innocent victim, even as police officers documented evidence from the 12 phones and 7 SIM cards found in her Pattaya condo. Just 6 weeks earlier, I'd been holding this woman's hand in a beachfront restaurant, believing we were building something real together. I'd transferred $30,000 to what I thought was a legitimate cryptocurrency investment platform she'd recommended. I'd been planning to transfer another $280,000, my entire liquid savings earmarked for retirement investments. But something had stopped me. A small technical anomaly on the investment website. The kind of detail most people would overlook or dismiss. The kind of detail a former cybersecurity consultant notices immediately and can't ignore. That anomaly led me to inspect the website's source code, which led me to trace server locations, which led me to discover identical code patterns from known scam domains, which led me to quietly mirror the site's backend and trace IP addresses to a specific condo building in Pattaya, which led me to contact Thai authorities instead of confronting Nak directly, which led to a sting operation, which led to a raid that uncovered not just Nak, but her 2 male accomplices and evidence of at least 50 active victims across multiple countries. Nak thought she'd found the perfect mark, a lonely, wealthy American retiree who'd mentioned his tech background in casual conversation. She'd calculated that my intelligence would make me trust my own judgment, that my loneliness would override my caution, that my money would make me worth the long con. She was right about some of that. I was lonely. I did trust my own judgment. I did have money worth stealing. But she miscalculated one critical factor. My cybersecurity training didn't disappear just because I'd retired. And the moment she introduced me to that fake investment platform, she'd entered my professional domain. Now, as I watched her being fingerprinted and photographed, I felt something cold and clear. Not satisfaction exactly. Not revenge. Just the calm certainty that comes from solving a complex problem correctly. She'd thought I was another victim, another aging Western man too stupid and desperate to see the obvious con, another name in her files, another dollar amount in her accounts, another success story to brag about to her accomplices. Instead, I became the one who exposed her entire operation, the one who provided evidence that would send her to prison for 6 years, the one who helped recover funds for other victims, the one who proved that even professional scammers make mistakes when they underestimate their targets. My name is Robert Danner. Everyone calls me Rob. And this is how I turned the tables on a woman who thought she was smarter than me. If you've been enjoying the stories I create, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Your support is crucial for the growth of this channel and helps me dedicate time to making these videos despite my commitment to a full-time job. Thank you for being here. Before I tell you how I met Nak and nearly lost everything, you need to understand who I was before Thailand, because that background is what saved me. My name is Robert Danner. I'm 58 years old, American, from Seattle, Washington. I spent 32 years working in cybersecurity, starting in the early days of the internet when security was an afterthought, ending in an era where cyber attacks could cripple entire corporations. I worked my way up from network administrator to security analyst to senior cybersecurity consultant at a Fortune 500 tech company. My job was finding vulnerabilities before hackers did, analyzing code for backdoors, investigating breaches, building security protocols, training employees to recognize phishing attempts and social engineering. I was good at it, very good. Pattern recognition was my specialty, identifying subtle anomalies in code, in traffic patterns, in user behavior, the kind of details that separate legitimate activity from malicious intent. I also spent years studying social engineering, the psychological manipulation techniques hackers use to trick people into giving up passwords, access, or money. I knew every tactic: urgency, authority, scarcity, reciprocity, emotional manipulation. I taught seminars on spotting these techniques. I was considered an expert. That expertise made me confident, maybe overconfident, that I could spot manipulation in my personal life just as easily as in my professional life. I was wrong about that. But we'll get to that. I married young, met my wife Sarah when I was 28. She was a graphic designer, creative and spontaneous, everything I wasn't. We had a good marriage for 15 years, then a deteriorating one for another 5, then a divorce when I was 48. The divorce was my fault. I'd been too focused on work, too absent emotionally, too comfortable with routine and predictability. Sarah wanted passion, adventure, spontaneity. I wanted stability, security, order. We grew apart gradually, then suddenly, until one day she told me she'd met someone else and wanted out. I didn't fight it. We split assets amicably, had no children to complicate things, went our separate ways with mutual regret but no bitterness. After the divorce, I threw myself even deeper into work, took on more projects, traveled constantly for consulting gigs, built my career while my personal life atrophied. By the time I was 54, I was earning excellent money and had accumulated about $1,400,000 in savings and investments. That's when my company was acquired by a larger tech conglomerate. As part of the restructuring, they offered generous early retirement packages to senior staff. I took it. At 54, I walked away with my savings intact, a decent pension, and absolutely no idea what to do with myself. I tried staying in Seattle, tried filling my days with hobbies, hiking, reading, taking programming courses just to stay current. But the loneliness that had been manageable when I was busy with work became overwhelming in retirement. I started traveling. Asia particularly appealed to me, affordable, fascinating, completely different from Seattle's rain and routine. I spent time in Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, and finally Thailand. Thailand felt different from the other countries. More developed, better infrastructure, easier for a Westerner to navigate. I kept coming back first for 2-week trips, then month-long stays, eventually spending 4 to 6 months per year in Thailand while maintaining my home in Seattle. I'd rent condos in different cities: Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Hua Hin, Pattaya. I'd explore, eat local food, learn basic Thai phrases, make casual acquaintances among other expats. It wasn't a life exactly, but it was a pleasant existence, better than sitting alone in Seattle. But it was still lonely, profoundly lonely. I'd go days speaking to no one except service workers. I'd eat meals alone, watch sunsets alone, go to bed alone night after night in temporary accommodations that never felt like home. By the time I was 57, I'd been divorced 9 years and hadn't had a meaningful relationship since. I'd been on a few dates with women I met through expat social events, but nothing clicked. Nothing felt real or substantial or worth pursuing. I wanted companionship, wanted someone to share experiences with, wanted to matter to someone again. That vulnerability, that deep, aching loneliness is what made me susceptible to knock despite all my training and expertise. I joined several Facebook groups for expats living in Thailand, partly for practical information, visa questions, housing recommendations, healthcare advice, partly for social connection, even if it was just online. One group called Living Well in Thailand was particularly active. About 8,000 members, mix of retirees and digital nomads, sharing everything from restaurant recommendations to political opinions to photos of their Thai girlfriends. I mostly lurked. Occasionally I'd comment on posts about technology or security, warning people about common scams, explaining how to secure their online banking, debunking virus hoaxes. It gave me a small sense of purpose, sharing expertise, helping people protect themselves. In September, I commented on a post someone had made about Thai cultural festivals. I mentioned attending Loy Krathong in Chiang Mai, described the beauty of thousands of lanterns floating into the night sky, shared my appreciation for how seriously Thais took cultural preservation. The next day, I received a friend request and message from someone named Kanyapak Suthita. Her profile showed an attractive Thai woman, maybe early 30s, professional-looking photos, posts in both Thai and English about travel, food, and cultural events. Her message was thoughtful. "Hello, Robert. I saw your comment about Loy Krathong in Chiang Mai. Your appreciation for Thai culture is beautiful. Many foreigners visit Thailand but don't understand or respect our traditions. It's nice to see someone who takes time to learn and appreciate. I'm originally from Chiang Mai, so that festival holds special meaning for me. If you're ever back in the north, I'd be happy to recommend some authentic experiences most tourists never see." The message stood out because it wasn't flirtatious or forward. It was intellectual, cultural, respectful. Not "hello handsome" or "you look nice" or any of the obvious opening lines I'd seen from Thai women messaging Western men online. I responded, Thank you, Kanyapak. I do try to respect and understand Thai culture rather than just consume it as a tourist. I definitely appreciate recommendations for Chiang Mai. I usually spend a few months there every winter. What do you do in Thailand? We messaged back and forth over the next week. She told me she was a flight attendant for a regional airline, though she'd been laid off during the post-pandemic airline industry contractions. She was living in Pattaya temporarily while looking for work, considering transitioning to a different career entirely. She came from what she described as a middle-class, educated family in Chiang Mai. Father was a university professor. Mother was a nurse. She'd studied English and tourism management in college, worked for the airline for 6 years, and was now at a crossroads professionally. I feel a bit lost, she wrote. I loved flying, seeing different places, meeting people from around the world. But aviation industry is difficult now. Maybe it's time for change. But change is scary when you're not young anymore. She was 30 years old, she told me. Not young by Thai standards for unmarried women, she explained. Feeling pressure from family to settle down, but also wanting to establish her career before marriage. Our conversations became regular. Daily messages, occasional voice calls, eventually video calls. She was intelligent, articulate, culturally aware. We'd talk about books, about travel experiences, about the challenges of navigating life transitions in middle age. She'd ask thoughtful questions about my cybersecurity work, seeming genuinely interested in the technical aspects. It must be fascinating, understanding how systems work and how people try to break them. Like being a detective, but for technology. I appreciated that she showed interest in my professional background rather than just my financial situation. Many Thai women I'd encountered online immediately asked about my income, my house, my car. Nok never asked about money. She focused on ideas, experiences, perspectives. After 2 months of online communication, she suggested meeting in person. I know we've been talking for a while, and I really enjoy our conversations. Would you like to meet for coffee when you're in Thailand next? No pressure, just thought it would be nice to talk face to face. I was planning to be in Pattaya the following month. I agreed to meet. I arrived in Pattaya in December and rented a condo in the Pratumnak area, quieter than the main tourist zones, close to the beach, modern building with good security. I'd stayed there before and liked the neighborhood. Nok and I arranged to meet at a cafe near central Pattaya. I arrived early, nervous in a way I hadn't been since first dates in college. I'd built up this woman in my mind over 2 months of conversation. Would she be the same in person? Would the connection translate to face-to-face interaction? She arrived exactly on time, looking like her photos pretty, well-dressed in conservative, casual clothes, professional but not overly formal. She smiled when she saw me and walked over confidently. Robert, I'm Nok. So nice to finally meet you in person. We shook hands, a Western gesture she initiated, which I appreciated. We ordered coffee and sat by the window. The conversation flowed as easily in person as it had online. She asked about my flight, about my condo, about my plans for Pattaya. I asked about her job search, about her living situation, about her family in Chiang Mai. She was charming but not overwhelming, friendly but not aggressive. She didn't touch me unnecessarily, didn't laugh too loudly at unfunny jokes, didn't fish for compliments. She seemed genuinely interested in conversation rather than in performing attraction. That subtlety is what made her effective, I'd later realize. She wasn't playing the stereotypical Thai girlfriend role. She was playing the intellectual equal role, the educated woman who wanted meaningful connection rather than financial support. After 2 hours, she suggested lunch. We went to a small Thai restaurant she recommended. Not touristy, but not intimidatingly local either. She ordered for us in Thai, translated menu items, explained dishes and their cultural significance. Over lunch, she asked about my divorce. I'd mentioned it briefly in our online conversations. She listened attentively as I explained. Too focused on work. Grew apart emotionally. Mutual decision to end things. Do you regret it? She asked carefully. I regret not being a better husband, I said honestly. But I don't regret the divorce itself. We weren't making each other happy anymore. Better to be apart than miserable together. She nodded thoughtfully. That's mature perspective. Many people stay in bad relationships because they fear being alone. But being alone is better than being with wrong person. Are you speaking from experience? I asked. Somewhat. I was engaged once when I was 25. But he wanted traditional Thai wife who stays home, cooks, takes care of his parents. I wanted career, independence, travel. We wanted different things. Better to know before marriage than after. The way she framed it, independent, career-focused, not looking for a provider, was exactly what I found appealing. She seemed self-sufficient, confident, not desperate or needy. We spent that first day together for about 6 hours. When we parted, she hugged me goodbye, a quick, friendly hug. Nothing more. "I really enjoyed today," she said. "I hope we can do this again. Maybe I can show you some places in Pattaya that tourists don't usually see." "I'd like that," I said. And I meant it. For the first time in years, I felt something close to excitement about human connection. Over the next 3 months, Nak and I spent significant time together. She'd suggest activities visiting local temples, exploring less touristy restaurants, hiking in nearby national parks, attending cultural events. She was an excellent guide to Thai culture. She'd explain customs, translate conversations, provide context for things I'd been observing but not understanding. She made me feel like I was experiencing authentic Thailand rather than just tourist Thailand. Our relationship progressed naturally. Hand-holding led to kissing. Kissing led to spending nights together. Spending nights together led to her gradually moving some belongings into my condo. She never asked for money, never hinted at needing help. She'd split bills or take turns paying. She seemed to have adequate savings from her flight attendant years and mentioned doing occasional freelance translation work for income. That financial independence made me trust her. She wasn't the stereotypical Thai girlfriend looking for a sponsor. She was an equal partner in our relationship. But in March, about 4 months into our relationship, she mentioned something that would change everything: cryptocurrency, investing. We'd been discussing financial planning one evening. I'd mentioned managing my retirement portfolio, keeping funds in conservative investments, living off the dividends, and my pension. "Have you ever considered cryptocurrency?" she asked casually. "I know about it," I said. "Blockchain technology is interesting, but the volatility concerns me. Too much risk for retirement money." "It can be risky," she agreed. "But if you know what you're doing, it can also be profitable." I have a friend from my flight attendant days who got involved in cryptocurrency trading. She's done very well. Made more in 2 years than she made in 10 years of flying. "Your friend trades crypto professionally?" I asked skeptically. "Not professionally, but seriously. She uses a Southeast Asian exchange platform that specializes in stable trading strategies. Not the speculative gambling you hear about. More like structured investment." She showed me her phone, a website for something called Asia Link Exchange. The site looked professional, clean design, SSL certificate, regulatory information, testimonials, detailed explanations of their investment strategies. "My friend let me invest small amount through her account last year," Nak continued. 20,000 baht. It's now worth 35,000. 75% return in 10 months. She showed me her account screenshots showing the initial investment, the current value, the trading history. It looked legitimate. "I'm thinking about investing more," she said. "Maybe 100,000 baht. But I wanted to wait until I had full-time work again. Seems risky to invest when income is uncertain." I was intrigued, despite myself. 75% return in 10 months was exceptional, even accounting for cryptocurrency volatility that suggested skilled trading or insider advantage. "How does the platform work?" I asked. "They have professional traders who manage pooled investments. You deposit funds, they trade on your behalf using algorithms and market analysis. You can withdraw any time, but they recommend leaving funds for at least 6 months to ride out market volatility." "What's the catch?" I asked. 75% returns don't come without risk or fees. There's trading fees, about 2% on deposits and withdrawals, and of course, market risk. But my friend says the traders are very skilled. And because it's a regional platform focused on Asia markets, they have advantages that Western exchanges don't. She wasn't pushing, wasn't pressuring, just sharing information about something that had worked for her. That subtle approach was more effective than any hard sell could have been. Over the next few weeks, she'd mention her crypto investments, occasionally, casually, almost incidentally. She'd show me her account growing. She'd share screenshots from her friend showing even larger returns. Finally, in April, I suggested maybe I should invest a small amount, Test the waters. If it performs as well as you're seeing, I could diversify some of my retirement portfolio." She seemed hesitant. "Are you sure? I don't want you to feel pressured. Crypto is risky." "Small amount," I said. "Like $30,000. Less than 3% of my portfolio. Low enough risk that if I lose it all, it won't matter. High enough that if it performs well, it's meaningful." "Okay," she said finally. "If you're sure, I can introduce you to my friend. She can help you set up account." That's how it started. A $30,000 test investment that would nearly become a $280,000 disaster. Nak's friend was named Siraporn, a Thai woman in her 40s who communicated primarily through line messages and occasional voice calls. She spoke decent English and seemed professional, knowledgeable about cryptocurrency markets and trading strategies. Siraporn walked me through setting up an account on AsiaLink Exchange. The process seemed legitimate. Account verification, identity documentation, security protocols. The website had all the standard features of a financial platform: two-factor authentication, encrypted connections, detailed terms of service. I transferred $30,000, approximately 1 million baht from my U.S. bank account to AsiaLink Exchange through a wire transfer to a Thai bank account they provided. The transfer went through normally, took 3 business days, appeared in my AsiaLink account as expected. Siraporn explained the trading strategy. "We focus on arbitrage opportunities between different Asian exchanges. When Bitcoin price is lower on Thai exchange than Singapore exchange, we buy Thailand and sell Singapore. Small margins, but consistent profits. Lower risk than speculative trading." The strategy made sense. I'd read about arbitrage trading. It was conservative, low risk if executed properly. For the first month, I watched my account daily. The balance would fluctuate up $2,000 one day, down $800 the next, up $3,000 the next. The pattern seemed consistent with real trading activity. By the end of May, my $30,000 investment showed a value of $37,200, 24% return in 6 weeks. Exceptional, but not impossible in volatile crypto markets. Nak was thrilled. "See? I told you Siraporn knows what she's doing. Your investment is performing even better than mine." In early June, Siraporn contacted me directly. "Robert, we've identified a significant arbitrage opportunity. Major price discrepancy between Korean and Indonesian exchanges. Timing is critical need to execute trades within 48-hour window. I'm offering this opportunity to trusted investors. You could potentially triple your investment in 1 month." "Triple in 1 month?" I was skeptical. "That sounds too good to be true. It's unusual," she admitted. "But these opportunities happen during market volatility. The risk is higher, you could lose everything. But the potential reward is significant. I'm investing heavily myself." "What would I need to invest?" "Minimum is $200,000 for this level of trade. The larger the position, the better the arbitrage margins." $200,000. About 15% of my total savings. Not insignificant, but manageable. And I already had $37,000 in the platform. If I added $190,000 more, I'd have $230,000 total position. "I need to think about it," I said. "Of course, but decision needs to be made by Friday. Market window closes then." The urgency was a classic manipulation tactic. I knew this intellectually. I'd taught courses on how scammers create false urgency to prevent victims from thinking carefully. But I was also seeing real returns in my account. Nak was invested and earning profits. My $30,000 had become $37,000. The website looked legitimate. Siraporn seemed professional. I discussed it with Nak that evening. She was cautious. "That's a lot of money, Robert. Are you comfortable with the risk?" "I've run the numbers," I said. "If I lose it all, I can absorb the loss. It would hurt, but it wouldn't destroy me. And if it performs as projected, the returns would significantly boost my retirement security." "Then it's your decision," she said. "I trust Siraporn, but I also understand your hesitation. Whatever you decide, I support you." That supportive but not pushy stance reinforced my belief that this was legitimate. She wasn't pressuring me. She was letting me make my own informed decision. On Thursday evening, I made my choice. I would invest an additional $250,000, bringing my total to approximately $280,000 after fees. I initiated the wire transfer on Friday morning. That's when everything changed. The wire transfer required me to log back into the Asia Link Exchange website to confirm the receiving bank account details. I was on my laptop in my condo. Knock was out meeting friends, and I had the site open in my browser. While verifying the account information, I noticed something odd. The website URL had a small typo Asia I Inc. with a capital I instead of lowercase l. Most people wouldn't notice. The capital I and lowercase l look nearly identical in most fonts. But I noticed because that's what I was trained to notice. It's a classic phishing technique registering domains that look identical to legitimate sites but have subtle character substitutions. I checked my browser history. The original site I'd used weeks ago was asialink-exchange.com, but today's site was asialink-exchange.com with a capital I. My stomach tightened. This could be innocent. Maybe the company used multiple domains. Or maybe someone had created a fake version of the site to intercept my login and banking information. I opened a private browser window and navigated to asialink-exchange.com directly. Same website, same design, same login page. But when I checked the SSL certificate, the registration dates were different. The original site had been registered 3 years ago. The capital I version had been registered 6 weeks ago, right around when I'd created my account. I checked the backend code, viewed the page source, inspected the JavaScript, and there it was, identical coding patterns to sites I'd seen in cybersecurity breach investigations. Cookie tracking scripts that weren't standard for financial platforms. Data collection methods that violated standard security protocols. I ran a trace route on the server. The original site, supposedly based in Singapore, was actually routing through servers in Pattaya, a specific data center I recognized from security reports commonly used by scam operations. My hands were shaking. My $37,000 in profits suddenly looked very different. Fake numbers on a fake platform designed to look like my investment was growing so I'd invest more. And I'd almost just wired $250,000 to what was likely a scam operation. I canceled the wire transfer immediately. Then I spent the next 8 hours doing what I did for 32 years professionally investigating. I worked through the night, using every tool and technique I'd learned in 3 decades of cybersecurity work. By 6 in the morning, I had a picture that was both clear and devastating. Asia Link Exchange was a complete fabrication. The website was a cloned template used by multiple scam operations. The testimonials were stock photos with fake names. The regulatory licenses were forged. The SSL certificates were fraudulent. The server infrastructure revealed the truth. Multiple identical websites hosted on the same servers, each with slightly different names. Asia Link Exchange, Euro Trade Partners, Global Crypto Solutions. All scam platforms operated by the same criminal network. I traced the IP addresses of the admin logins, the people actually controlling the fake platforms. They led to a condo building in Pattaya, a specific building in the Jomtien area, about 20 minutes from where I was staying. I checked the bank accounts where victim funds were transferred. Multiple Thai bank accounts, all opened within the past year, all with transaction patterns consistent with money laundering funds coming in from overseas, then quickly distributed to other accounts or withdrawn as cash. I pulled up archived versions of the Asia Link website. It had only existed for 8 months. Before that, the domain had been owned by a completely different entity. Someone had bought the domain, copied the design of legitimate crypto exchanges, and created a professional-looking fake platform. The account statements showing my profits all generated by simple scripts. The trading activity fabricated. The balance fictional. My $37,000 wasn't real. My original $30,000 was gone, likely distributed among multiple accounts within hours of my transfer. Then I investigated Siraporn. Her line profile photo was a stock image. Her phone number was a disposable SIM. Her LinkedIn profile, which she'd shared as proof of legitimacy, was fake. The company she claimed to work for had no record of her employment. Finally, I investigated Knock. This was the hardest part. The part I didn't want to do. The part where I had to consider that the woman I'd fallen for might be part of the scam. I checked her social media profiles more thoroughly. Her Facebook account was only 2 years old. Before that, no digital footprint. Her photos, while consistent, had EXIF data that revealed some had been taken with different devices than she claimed to own. I ran facial recognition searches. Nock's face appeared in multiple places, different names, different profiles, different stories. One profile claimed she was a nurse in Chiang Mai. Another claimed she was a business owner in Bangkok. Another claimed she was a student in Phuket. All the same face, all different identities. I cross-referenced her phone number. It appeared in warnings on expat forums, men claiming they'd been scammed by a woman using that number. Different names, but same pattern. Cryptocurrency investment schemes. By the time the sun rose over Pattaya, I knew the truth. Nock was a professional scammer. Siraporn was her accomplice, probably not even a real person, just a voice and fake identity. The cryptocurrency platform was an elaborate fiction, and I'd been targeted specifically because my tech background made me seem like a challenging, prestigious victim. The relationship, 4 months of what I'd thought was genuine connection, had been fiction. Every conversation, every cultural exchange, every intimate moment had been calculated manipulation designed to earn my trust so I'd hand over my retirement savings. I felt sick, betrayed, stupid, angry, but underneath those emotions was something else: determination. I'd spent 32 years catching criminals who thought they were smarter than security professionals. I wasn't going to let Nock and her accomplices get away with this. I contacted the Thai Cybercrime Investigation Bureau. The Thai Cybercrime Investigation Bureau operates out of Bangkok. I called their hotline at 7 in the morning and explained the situation: American victim of cryptocurrency romance scam, technical evidence of fraudulent platform, traced IP addresses to specific location in Pattaya. They connected me with Lieutenant Colonel Anyusorn, head of the Cybercrime Investigation Unit. He spoke excellent English and listened carefully as I explained everything. "Mr. Robert, you are first victim to report this scam with technical evidence," he said. "Most victims only have messages and bank transfers, no technical information. This is very helpful. I have server locations, IP addresses, admin login patterns, everything," I said. "I can give you complete technical breakdown of the scam infrastructure. Can you come to Bangkok today? We need to document everything properly." I took the bus to Bangkok that afternoon, met with Lieutenant Colonel Anyusorn and his team. I brought my laptop, showed them everything I'd found, walked them through the technical evidence step by step. "This is sophisticated operation," Anyusorn said. "Professional setup, multiple websites, multiple bank accounts, good security protocols, not amateur scammers." "Can you arrest them?" I asked. "With this evidence, yes, but we need to coordinate carefully. If we move too fast, they will know they are discovered and will disappear. We need to catch them with evidence, computers, phones, bank records, everything." "How do we do that?" "You continue your relationship with this woman, Nock. You pretend you don't know about the scam. You act like victim. When timing is right, we will coordinate arrest." "She's going to want me to send more money?" I said. I told her I was wiring $250,000. "When that doesn't arrive, she'll know something's wrong. Tell her there was problem with the wire transfer. Bank flagged it for security review. Will take a few days to resolve. This gives us time to prepare." Over the next 2 weeks, I played my role. I acted frustrated about the bank delay, apologized to Nock, continued our relationship as if nothing was wrong. Every conversation, every message, I was documenting for evidence. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel Anyusorn's team was building their case. They traced the bank accounts, identified the account holders, connected them to previous scam investigations. They found 4 other active victims currently being scammed by the same network, including a German man who'd already transferred 80,000 euros and an Australian man who'd transferred $60,000. They obtained warrants for surveillance, for bank record access, for electronic communications interception. They built a comprehensive file documenting the entire operation. And then Nock made a mistake. She invited me to a business dinner to meet Siraporn in person and discuss expanding my investment. That dinner became a sting operation. The dinner was scheduled for a Thursday evening at an upscale restaurant in central Pattaya. Nock told me Siraporn was flying in from Bangkok specifically for this meeting, that they wanted to discuss a major investment opportunity, that this could be my chance to triple my money. I agreed enthusiastically, played the eager investor. Lieutenant Colonel Anyusorn's team coordinated with Pattaya police. They'd have undercover officers in the restaurant, surveillance outside, a tactical team ready to move once we'd gathered enough evidence and confirmed identities. I wore a wire, a small recording device hidden in my watch that transmitted everything to police receivers outside. The moment Nak and Siriporn made specific fraudulent claims or attempted to solicit more money, we'd have actionable evidence. I arrived at the restaurant early. Nak was already there, looking beautiful in an elegant dress, smiling like this was a romantic evening rather than a business meeting. "Are you excited?" she asked, squeezing my hand. "This could be a life-changing opportunity for both of us." "Nervous," I admitted honestly. "This is a lot of money we're discussing. Trust Siriporn," she said. "She knows what she's doing." Siriporn arrived 15 minutes later, a real person, this time, not just a voice. Thai woman in her 40s, professionally dressed, confident demeanor. She greeted me warmly, apologized for only communicating remotely before. "Robert, thank you for trusting me with your investment," she said. "I know it's difficult to invest with someone you've never met in person. I wanted to change that." We ordered dinner, made small talk. Then Siriporn shifted to business. "Your original $30,000 investment has been very successful," she said. "But the real opportunities require larger capital. We're currently positioned to execute a series of trades that could return 300% in 60 days. "How is that possible?" I asked, playing skeptical. "Market volatility combined with arbitrage opportunities. We have insider relationships with several Asian exchanges. We get price information seconds before public markets. That advantage allows us to execute trades at optimal moments." That was securities fraud, trading on insider information. Siriporn had just admitted to a crime on tape. "The challenge," she continued, "is that these opportunities require minimum investment of $500,000. Your current position is too small, but if you add $470,000, you'd qualify for our premium tier. That's where the real money is made." Nearly $500,000. They weren't just trying to scam me, they were going for a devastating takedown. "That's my entire retirement savings," I said carefully. "It's a risk," Nak said, touching my hand. "But Siriporn has never failed, and we're in this together. My investment is tied to yours. If you lose, I lose." That was the key moment, Nak directly endorsing the scam, confirming her role as accomplice rather than innocent girlfriend. "I need to think about it," I said. "Of course," Siriporn said, "but the opportunity window closes Monday. After that, we won't have another chance like this for months." Urgency again. False deadlines. Classic manipulation. I looked at Nak. She smiled encouragingly, squeezing my hand. The woman I'd thought I loved. The woman I'd trusted. Looking at me with fake concern and real calculation. "Let me make a call," I said. "I need to talk to my financial advisor about accessing that much capital." I stood up, walked toward the restaurant bathrooms, past 2 undercover police officers sitting at nearby tables, gave the signal, touching my ear twice. 2 minutes later, the restaurant's front entrance was blocked by police vehicles. Uniformed officers entered, moving quickly but calmly. Lieutenant Colonel Anyasorn walked straight to our table. Nak saw him first. Her face went pale. She looked at me, then at the police, then tried to stand. An officer moved behind her, placed a hand on her shoulder. "Kanya Pak Suthida and Siriporn Chaisen," Anasorn said in Thai. "You are under arrest for fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit financial crimes." Siriporn started to protest. Nak just stared at me with a mixture of shock and hatred. "You," she said quietly in English. "You knew." "I'm a cybersecurity consultant," I said. "Did you really think I wouldn't notice the technical problems with your fake investment site?" She said something in rapid Thai, probably obscenities. The officers handcuffed both women, read them their rights, led them out of the restaurant. I sat there for a moment, watching them go, feeling nothing but cold clarity. Then Lieutenant Colonel Anyasorn sat down across from me. "Good work, Mr. Robert. We have everything we need. Now we execute the second phase, the condo raid." While Nak and Siriporn were being transported to the police station, a tactical team was raiding the condo where the operation was based, the Jomtien address I'd traced through server IP addresses. They found 2 male accomplices there, along with the infrastructure of the scam. 12 phones with multiple SIM cards, 7 laptops, external hard drives with victim files, notebooks with login credentials, and financial records showing the scope of the operation. The hard drives contained documentation of 53 active victims from 17 countries, mostly Western men between ages 50 and 70, all at various stages of the scam. Some had just started talking to Nok or other women in the operation. Some had already transferred money and were being groomed for larger transfers. Some had lost everything and been discarded. Total estimated losses across all victims, approximately $2,300,000. The victim files were disturbingly detailed. Each file contained complete background information scraped from social media, psychological profiles noting vulnerabilities, conversation logs showing which manipulation tactics worked best, financial information including net worth estimates, timeline for extraction, how long to build trust before asking for money, post-scam protocols for what to do if victim reported to police. My file was flagged as high-value target and challenging due to tech background, but also noted that my divorce and loneliness made me emotionally vulnerable. The notes detailed how Nok should play the intellectual equal role rather than the traditional girlfriend role. It was all calculated. Every moment, every conversation, every connection I'd felt. Scripted manipulation designed to extract maximum money before disappearing. The male accomplices confessed quickly, providing additional details about the operation. They'd been running it for 2 years, cycling through multiple female operatives, constantly adapting to avoid detection. They'd target wealthy expats through Facebook groups, dating apps, and expat forums, identify promising marks, then deploy women who'd build months-long relationships before introducing investment scams. The bank accounts contained approximately $800,000 in various stages of laundering. Those funds were frozen immediately. Lieutenant Colonel Anasorn's team worked with international authorities, Interpol liaison in Bangkok, law enforcement in victims' home countries, cryptocurrency exchanges to trace and freeze as much of the stolen money as possible. Over the next 3 months, they recovered approximately 65% of the total stolen funds, including about $21,000 of my $30,000. The rest had been withdrawn as cash, spent, or laundered through channels they couldn't trace. Still, recovering anything was remarkable. Most scam victims recover nothing. The trial was held in Pattaya Provincial Court over 4 days in August. All 4 defendants, Nok, Siraporn, and the 2 male accomplices, were charged with multiple counts of fraud, money laundering, conspiracy, and computer crimes. I testified on day 2. I walked the court through how I'd identified the scam technically, how I'd traced the servers, how I'd documented the manipulation tactics, how I'd worked with police to build the case. Nok sat in the defendant's area, staring at me with undisguised hatred the entire time I testified. When the prosecutor asked if I'd been in a romantic relationship with the defendant, I said yes. When asked if I believed the relationship was genuine, I said yes. When asked how I felt when I discovered it was fiction, I said, betrayed, foolish, and determined to ensure she faced consequences. The defense tried to argue that Nok had genuinely cared for me, that her feelings were real even if the business opportunity was misrepresented. But the evidence destroyed that narrative. The victim files, the psychological manipulation notes, the calculated timeline for extraction, all proved this was professional criminal enterprise, not romance gone wrong. The prosecutor presented testimony from other victims. The German man who'd lost 80,000 euros, the Australian who'd lost $60,000, an American woman who'd lost $40,000 to a male operative, using similar tactics. Each story was heartbreaking people who'd trusted, loved, invested, and lost everything. On day 4, the verdicts came swiftly. Guilty on all counts for all 4 defendants. Sentencing was immediate. Nok received 6 years imprisonment for fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering. No suspension, no reduction. Full 6 years. Siraporn received 5 years for fraud and conspiracy. The 2 male accomplices each received 4 years for conspiracy and computer crimes. Additionally, all defendants were ordered to pay restitution to victims, and all seized assets would be liquidated and distributed based on documented losses. As they led Nok away, she looked at me one last time, not with hatred anymore, just emptiness. The mask had dropped completely. I saw her for what she really was, a professional criminal who'd calculated wrong and paid the price. It's been 8 months since Nok's arrest. I'm still in Thailand, though I've moved to Chiang Mai, away from Pattaya, and the memories associated with the case. I recovered about $21,000 of the $30,000 I'd lost. Plus, a portion of the liquidated assets, approximately 3,000 more, from seized phones, laptops, and jewelry purchased with scammed funds. Total recovery: about 80% of my loss. More importantly, I helped recover funds for other victims. The German man got back 55,000 euros. The Australian got back $42,000. Not everything, but significant amounts that made real differences in their lives. Lieutenant Colonel Anyasorn's team credited me with breaking open a case they'd been investigating for months without success. My technical analysis and willingness to participate in the sting operation gave them everything they needed. They've asked me to consult on other cybercrime cases, teaching Thai investigators about technical forensics and social engineering detection. I said, yes, it gives me purpose, and it uses my skills to protect people rather than just corporate assets. As for the emotional impact, it's complicated. I wasn't in love with Nak. I was in love with the character she played. The real Nak, or Kanyapak, her legal name, is a stranger to me, a criminal I helped put in prison. But I did feel something genuine. The loneliness that made me vulnerable was real. The desire for connection was real. The hope that I could find companionship in my late 50s was real. Those feelings don't disappear just because they were exploited. I'm more cautious now, more skeptical. I question motives, verify claims, maintain boundaries. I don't trust easily anymore, even when I want to. But I'm also not willing to let one professional scammer make me cynical about all relationships. Somewhere between naive trust and paranoid suspicion is a healthy middle ground. I'm trying to find it. I've started dating again, casually, carefully, with eyes wide open. I meet women through normal social channels, verify their backgrounds, keep finances completely separate, move slowly rather than rushing into intimacy. It's harder than before. The innocence is gone. The ability to believe someone at face value is compromised. Every new connection carries suspicion I hate feeling. But it's necessary. The world has predators. Some are remarkably skilled. Some specifically target people like me, intelligent people who believe their intelligence protects them, lonely people who want connection enough to override caution, wealthy people who have something worth stealing. The lesson I learned: intelligence doesn't protect against emotional manipulation. Logic and emotion operate in different domains. You can be brilliant at recognizing technical scams while being blind to personal ones. That cognitive dissonance, knowing I was smart enough to detect the technical fraud but not smart enough to prevent the emotional vulnerability that made me susceptible in the first place, is what I'm still processing. I'm writing this at a cafe in Chiang Mai, looking at the mountains I once explored with Nak. The view hasn't changed, but I see it differently now. If you're reading this because you're considering a relationship with someone you met online, especially someone from Thailand or Southeast Asia, here's what I want you to know. Not all Thai women are scammers. This isn't a racist or cultural warning. Most Thai people are honest, kind, hardworking. Most Thai women in relationships with Western men are genuine. But scammers exist. They're professional. And they specifically target Western men in Thailand because the cultural and language barriers create opportunities for deception. Intelligence doesn't protect you. I'm a cybersecurity expert who taught courses on social engineering and manipulation detection. I still fell for it because the manipulation was emotional rather than logical. Your professional skills, your education, your life experience, none of it makes you immune when loneliness clouds judgment. Romance investment scams are sophisticated. The cryptocurrency scam Nak ran is common now. They build real seeming relationships over months, then introduce investment opportunities that seem legitimate. The platforms look professional, show fake profits, and create urgency for larger investments. By the time you realize it's fake, your money is gone. Red flags I ignored, she found me. Not vice versa, targeted through online forums. She mirrored my interests perfectly, too perfect to be coincidence. The relationship escalated quickly, 4 months, from first message to investment discussion. She never needed money, personally maintained independence, until the investment opportunity appeared. The investment opportunity was urgent, limited time window to prevent careful consideration. Returns were unrealistically high, 75% in 10 months through low-risk arbitrage. Her background was unverifiable, no digital footprint before 2 years ago. She discouraged me from getting independent, legal, or financial advice. How to protect yourself, technical verification, If someone introduces you to any investment platform, verify it independently. Check registration dates, SSL certificates, company information, Google the exact website name plus scam to see warnings. Use online tools to trace server locations and check for duplicate sites. Financial protection. Never invest money in platforms controlled by romantic partners. Never put property in someone else's name. Never co-sign loans or provide access to your accounts. Keep finances completely separate until you're legally married with proper prenuptial agreements. Background verification. Verify everything independently. If she says she works somewhere, visit that workplace. If she says her family needs money for emergencies, visit the hospital or meet the family. If she has a business, see it operating. Don't accept her word alone. Professional advice. Before making any significant financial decision, get independent legal and financial advice from professionals who don't know your partner. Thai lawyers who specialize in foreigner protection, financial advisors who understand international investment, accountants who can review proposed business opportunities. Emotional awareness. Recognize when loneliness is affecting your judgment. If you find yourself thinking, she's different from the others, or this time is real, or I'm too smart to be scammed, those thoughts are red flags. Real relationships develop slowly, naturally, without urgency or financial pressure. Report if scammed. If you realize you're being scammed, report immediately to local police, to your embassy, to cybercrime units, to international fraud prevention organizations. Most victims don't report due to embarrassment. That silence protects scammers. Reporting helps catch criminals and recover funds. My final thought. I'm not angry at Thailand. I'm not bitter about all Thai women. I'm not even entirely angry at Nok. She's a criminal serving appropriate punishment. But she's also a product of systems and choices that led her to this path. I'm angry at myself for ignoring warning signs, because I wanted the relationship to be real, for letting loneliness override caution, for thinking my intelligence protected me from emotional manipulation. But I'm also grateful. Grateful my technical background caught the scam before I lost everything. Grateful Thai police took the case seriously and built a successful prosecution. Grateful I could help other victims and potentially prevent future ones. I came close to losing $280,000. Instead, I lost $30,000, recovered $24,000, and helped put 4 professional scammers in prison. That's not a perfect outcome, but it's far better than it could have been. If my story helps even one person recognize a scam before they lose everything, it was worth sharing. If this story has helped you understand sophisticated romance investment scams and how to protect yourself, please subscribe and share widely. These educational stories take extensive time and research to produce. Remember, real love doesn't come with investment opportunities. Real partners don't need your money. Real relationships are built on transparency, not manipulation. Stay safe, stay skeptical, and verify everything independently.